Millionaire Elon Musk reveals retirement secret only 1% of black seniors and homeless know. The internet exploded last night. Rumors flying wild. Headlines screaming. Marcus Turner, the billionaire tech genius who changed everything, suddenly stepping away from his empire. But not for cash, power, or game-changing AI. No. For something deeper, something raw, something no one saw coming. Whispers say Marcus is diving headfirst into a forgotten reality. The brutal financial gap swallowing the black community. A blackout of opportunities that no gadget or code could fix. Just heart, grit, and old wounds that tech never touched. People are talking about the locked doors behind Marcus's glossy tech towers. Not just buildings, but walls built on silent suffering. And he's tearing them down. Or at least trying to. What nobody expected? Marcus uncovered a secret buried in his past. An ancient family story so heavy, so powerful, it shook his very core. This secret ties him to struggles older than his first startup. A legacy soaked in resilience, wisdom, and pain. In a world where screens pulse with data every second, Marcus holds a dusty journal, worn and cracked. Its pages whisper tales of ancestors battling chains, not with violence, but with fierce courage and mind sharp as steel. It's a history erased by time, but alive again in his hands. Meanwhile, in the shadows of glossy boardrooms, Victor Kane, Marcus's ruthless business manager, watches like a hawk. Victor's bent on protecting their empire at any cost. No matter who stands in the way, he fights to keep Marcus tethered to the old game. Success, control, quiet power. Not this wild new dream. Late one night, with trembling hands and a pounding heart, Marcus flips through the fragile journal under flickering neon light. The words burn with a strange hope and weight. He's on the verge of revealing this truth to the world, ready to shatter the image of the untouchable billionaire and become something else, something honest. But then the phone buzzes. One name flashes, a shadowy figure from his past with a cruel smile and a suitcase full of dirt. Secrets that could rip Marcus down faster than any tweet or scandal. Fear claws at his chest. The yearnings to lift up those crushed by decades of injustice, fight against the instinct to shield his hard-earned world. A fortress built on code and capital. Outside the towering glass walls, the city hums with tension and light. Inside, Marcus stands silent, staring down the abyss of choice, caught between legacy and fear. His breath, thick, heart pounding like a war drum. The question burns hotter than a wildfire. Can Marcus honor his ancestors? Can he risk it all to change the broken system? Or will the ghost of fear chain him back to the life he thought he knew? Hey! Before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh! And let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. Marcus stood, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. That phone call, it twisted inside him like a knot he couldn't untie. His heart raced, breath coming in quick gasps. Who could it be? He glanced at the flickering neon light, shadows dancing on the walls. He reached for the phone, his thumb hovering over the screen. It vibrated again, as if urging him to answer. The name haunted him, Jordan Sinclair, the ghost of a past he thought he had left behind. They were friends once, brothers in arms, sharing dreams over late-night coffee. But then trust shattered, friendship turning to betrayal. Jordan was an explosive storm, and Marcus had been too naive to see it. With a deep breath, he swiped to answer. "Jordan?" His voice trembled, an uneasy mixture of relief and dread. "Hey, Marcus," came the smooth, familiar voice, but it dripped with something darker. "I knew you'd be at a crossroads, my friend." "What do you want?" Marcus snapped, anger bubbling beneath the surface. "I have something you need to hear. It's about your family, about your legacy." Marcus's heart dropped. "What are you talking about?" "I found some documents, family records, hidden connections, things you never knew." The words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken truths. "What do you mean? What have you found?" The silence crushed him. Then Jordan spoke, softly, almost cruelly. "Your family wasn't just a victim of the system, Marcus. They were part of it. Builders of the empire at great cost. And there's a reason it was buried." Creeped in, clawing at his insides. "Stop playing games. What do you want?" "I want you to understand. I've been protecting you, keeping these secrets from falling into the wrong hands, but I can't hold back anymore. Things are changing, and you'll need to decide who you really are." Just then, a flicker of pain crossed Marcus's mind. Memories hit him like a tidal wave. Family gatherings, filled with laughter and stories that always felt a bit off. Shadows lurking under smiles. His past was elastic, twisted in ways he didn't want to explore. "What are you saying?" The tremor in his voice betrayed him. "Meet me tomorrow at the old warehouse, the one by the docks. I'll show you everything. But be warned, not everyone will want this truth out." There was a finality in Jordan's tone that sent a shiver down his spine. Before Marcus could reply, the call ended. The silence in the room was deafening. His pulse thundered in the stillness, echoing thoughts of legacy, of honor, and the painful reality of his heritage. A knock on the door startled him. It was Victor, striding in with his usual confidence. But now, there was tension in his eyes, an urgency that danced like wildfire. "We need to talk about the project." "Not now, Victor," Marcus replied, a mix of irritation and fear swirling inside. Victor stepped closer, lowering his voice. "This isn't just about business anymore. I know something about your past. It changes everything." Marcus felt the ground give way beneath him. "What are you talking about?" But Victor was already shifting, the air around them thickening with secrets. The room felt smaller, the walls inching closer. Marcus found himself staring at Victor's face, a mask of determination mixed with something darker. "What if I told you you're not who you think you are?" Victor challenged, his voice barely a whisper, yet loaded with implicaciones. The floor trembled beneath Marcus's feet. A cold chill ran down his spine. What do you mean? I know why you've always felt like an outsider, even among your own. It's time you learn the truth. That was it. The heavy truth that hung between them, thick with unspoken words. An avalanche of stories lay just beneath the surface, threatening to bury him alive. Would he be brave enough to dig deeper, navigate this unfamiliar terrain? The night outside buzzed with life, but inside, Marcus felt frozen, caught in a web of confusion and fear. The choice lay before him, but it felt like staring into an abyss, teetering on the edge. What awaited him in the shadows? As the questions flooded in, one thing became painfully clear. Everything he thought he knew about himself, his family, even his future, was up for grabs, and he had no idea what his next move would be. Marcus stood frozen, his breath hanging in the air, thick with anxiety. The phone buzzed again, pleading for his attention. The room faded around him, the city lights blurring into a surreal haze. He wasn't ready for this. Not now. With shaking fingers, he answered, "What do you want?" His voice was barely a whisper, fear bubbling just beneath the surface. "Marcus, it's me, Tasha." The voice on the other end was sharp. It cut through the static in his mind. "You need to listen. Right now. You're in danger." His heart raced. Tasha, his younger sister, always had a knack for sensing the storm before it rolled in. "From what? You remember the journal? The one you've been hiding?" She paused, heavy silence hanging between them. "It ties back to the family, to everything we've been trying to forget. Someone knows, and they might come for you." A chill settled at the base of his spine. It couldn't be true. His whole life, he'd kept such things buried. Then, a cold realization gripped him. He wasn't the only one with skeletons in the closet. The past had claws, ready to latch on when he least expected it. But how? His words faltered. "They don't just want your tech empire, Marcus. They want the secrets. They'll use anything, or anyone." Her voice quivered. "Mom warned us. You have to be careful if they find you before—" A loud crashing sound interrupted their conversation, reverberating throughout the tower. The walls shook, glass rattling in their frames. Adrenaline surged through him as he dropped the phone, instinctively moving toward the windows. Below, chaos unfolded. People were screaming, running. Bright flashes lit up the street. Was it an explosion? No! Worse, a mob! The protesters surged forward, holding signs that screamed injustice, demanding change, demanding answers. But among the cries for justice, he felt it. A deeper, more sinister purpose. His thoughts raced. Was this initiated by Victor? Was he throwing Marcus to the wolves to protect the Empire? "Marcus!" Tasha's voice snapped him back to the moment. "You have to go. They're not coming just for you. They're coming for me too. They want to silence us." His chest tightened. This was no longer just about him or his dream of change. This was linked to a legacy he barely understood. The journal, the heart of his identity, held more than personal history. It contained truths that could ignite the flames of revolution or collapse an empire. And suddenly, the truth of their family history crashed down on him like a tidal wave. Stories his mother had whispered at bedtime. tales of sacrifice and survival, were tied to something larger than he ever contemplated. Marcus felt the weight of countless eyes watching him now, waiting for him to lead or fall. As he made his way to the door, the world around him exploded with sound. Sirens wailed, horns blared, and the shattering of glass echoed like thunderclaps in the storm of uncertainty. He hesitated, staring at the crumpled journal on the table, the lifeline to everything he'd fought to preserve. His fingers brushed against its worn cover, and with it, the realization that by choosing to reveal the truth, he'd be tearing apart everything he'd ever known. Then, the door crashed open. Victor stood there, eyes wild, face masked in desperation and fury. "What have you done? You're too late!" The air thickened with tension. Victor was no longer just a manager. He was the gatekeeper to a world Marcus needed to escape. In that electric moment, everything shifted. Loyalties fractured, and the fight for his future turned into a battle for survival. The whispers of ancestors roared in his ears as he stepped forward, heart pounding with fierce determination. He was ready, but was it too? Would he be able to change the world from a place so deep within chaos? The clock was ticking, and the walls were closing in. Marcus stood frozen, his breath hanging in the air, thick with anxiety. The door banged open, and Victor stood there, eyes wild, face masked in desperation and fury. "What have you done? You're too late!" The air thickened with tension. Victor had become more than just a manager. He was the gatekeeper to a world Marcus needed a way out of. "What do you mean?" Marcus swallowed hard, panic rising within him like a storm. But Victor wasn't finished. The words spilled from him, desperate and frantic. "If the press finds out about your family, if they dig deeper, it'll ruin everything. This isn't just about your business. It's your life. Do you understand?" A loud crash outside interrupted their exchange, shaking the very foundations of the tower. The city buzzed with chaos as screams echoed outside like sirens announcing doom. Shadows moved restlessly in the streets below. Marcus rubbed his temples, battling the confusion and fear. What was happening? What truth could possibly unravel everything he'd built? His heart pounded, and in that moment of chaos, his phone buzzed again. It was Tasha, and he could hear the urgency in her voice even with the line crackling. "They're coming for you! You have to move!" Before he could respond, a burst of gunfire rang out from the street below. It shattered the night, piercing the tension with sharp terror. Marcus's heart stopped. Victor's face paled. "Get down!" he shouted, pulling Marcus away from the windows. They hit the floor just as more shots rang out. The distant sound of yelling mixed with the haunting scream of sirens, rising into a frenzy. Marcus felt the weight of the world pressing down on him. What is happening down there? He buried his face in shaky hands, feeling the confusion twist into something darker. "Listen!" Victor's voice broke through the chaos. "We have to get out of here! Now! They'll come for you next!" Panic twisted in Marcus's gut as he scrambled to his feet. "What do you know?" His eyes narrowed, searching Victor's expression for answers. But then something in Victor's face shifted. Something broke. "Marcus?" Victor hesitated, the secret suspended in the air like a thick fog. I should have told you before. You have to know the truth. Your mother! Suddenly, with a crash, the door flew open once more. A figure stepped into the room, silhouetted against the chaos outside. Short, wild hair, a familiar soft gaze. Jordan? Marcus gasped, the name escaping in a breath. No time! Jordan rushed forward, slamming the door behind him. It's worse than you think. They know about the journal. They know about you. He locked eyes with Marcus, the urgency palpable. Tasha is already in danger. You're all part of this. Part of something massive. Part of what? Marcus felt his heart sink, the gears in his mind grinding to a halt. He had always sensed fragments of a bigger picture, but this was different, darker. Before Jordan could respond, a deafening explosion rocked the building. Shards of glass rained down, and they all ducked. The world outside erupted into chaos, colors blurring through shattered windows. As the dust began to settle, a soft, haunting voice carried through the smoke. I have what you need, Marcus. It was Tasha, standing there with an old envelope in hand. The truth. I've been tracking it down. But it's worse than I imagined. Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. He rushed toward her, desperate. What is it? With trembling hands, she unfolded the paper. It was a birth certificate. But the name on it wasn't Marcus's mother's. It was the name of someone powerful, someone he never expected. Victor's mother. A room went silent as realization crashed over him like icy water. No, he whispered, shock etching lines across his face. Victor's eyes widened, the tension snapping between them like a tight rope ready to break. Your family ties are deeper than you thought, Marcus, and they're more dangerous than all of us combined. Marcus's mind reeled as the implications settled like lead in his stomach. As chaos roared outside, the truth they had feared loomed closer, twisting the very fabric of their lives. And just when he thought he could begin to unravel the web, a single thought pierced through his mind like a dagger. Were his ancestors truly victims, or the architects of this chaos? His heart raced as he stood there on the precipice of an unfathomable truth, wondering how far the roots of deceit extended and where the next turn would lead. Would he uncover the legacy forged in darkness, or would he find a truth he couldn't face? The phone buzzed again, shaking Marcus from his daze. His heart raced as he stared at the name on the screen. Lena! Memories flooded back. A rush of laughter and tears. Sweet Marcus, we need to talk. It's urgent. Her voice trembled, tighter than a coil ready to snap. What's going on? Meet me at the old diner. It can't wait, she pushed. He glanced at the journal. Its pages spread like an open wound before him. The weight of his ancestors' stories pressed on him, bringing a strange mix of hope and dread. The thought of sharing the secrets inside with the world was thrilling. But what if he was still too afraid? He needed to know. He had to face his past. Within the hour, Marcus found himself walking into the diner, the smell of greasy fries and coffee lingering in the air. It felt like stepping into another life. The old booths were faded memories of laughter and fights, part of a different time. Before tech, before fame. Lena sat their usual spot, her eyes scanning the room like she was searching for ghosts. When their eyes met, Her expression turned serious. There was no laughter this time, just a sinking feeling in his gut. "What's so urgent?" he asked, sliding onto the cracked vinyl seat. She leaned in, her voice barely above a whisper. "I found something about your family. Something you don't know. It changes everything." His chest tightened. "What do you mean?" The air thickened with unspoken fears. "It's about your grandfather. He didn't just fight the system, he was part of it. You're not just connected to their pain. You might also be tied to the roots of the very empire you built. There's a secret, a legacy of privilege wrapped in struggle." Her words crashed over him like a tidal wave, obliterating everything he thought he knew about his lineage. "What are you talking about?" She took a shaky breath. "I have documents, photos, investigations into the wealth that came from exploiting people like us. It's a level of betrayal you didn't see coming." Shock twisted in his gut. The walls around him felt like they were closing in. "No, that can't be true." "It is," she insisted, shaking her head. "You have to confront this, Marcus. Otherwise, this dream you have of helping the community, it's built on illusions. It will collapse." Suddenly, the door swung open. Victor, ever the sentinel, strolled in like he owned the place. His eyes locked onto Marcus, straight and cold. The atmosphere shifted. "Marcus, there you are!" Victor called, moving closer. He feigned casualness, but his posture screamed of calculating danger. "I was looking for you. We need to talk strategy." "Ha ha 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 ha! Not now, Victor," Marcus snapped, feeling a surge of rebellion. But Victor smiled, dark and confident. "Oh, but it is now. You need to remember what's at stake. You have a reputation to uphold, a business to protect." Lena's hand gripped Marcus's, and he felt the urge to uncover the truth, battling against Victor's tempting hold on power. The tension in the room electrified the air. As Marcus looked between the two, the weight of the world felt heavier than ever. What would he do? Choose the staggering truth that could crumble his empire? Or hide behind the comfort of the strength he had built, ignoring the past? A loud crash interrupted the moment. A figure burst through the diner door, breathless, frantic, eyes wide with fear. "Marcus, you need to see this. It's urgent." Marcus's heart pounded, and in that instant, as everything hung in the balance, he knew there was no turning back. Whatever this new twist was, it would fracture the foundations of everything he'd built. "Who are you?" Victor snapped, but Marcus couldn't focus. His mind raced. What was on the line? And what profound secrets lay ahead, waiting to unravel his world? Marcus felt the weight of the phone in his hand, the buzzing pulling him from the depths of the journal's world. He looked at the name, glowing on the screen. Jaden Gray, a name from a past he hoped to leave behind, a name tied to trouble, to choices he thought he'd escaped. As the phone kept buzzing, Marcus's heart raced. Deep breaths, he thought. Don't let fear win. But just as he was about to swipe the answer button, something different happened. The lights in the room dimmed, and the air crackled with tension. He turned toward the window, his pulse quickening. An explosion of colors erupted as a bright flash lit the night sky. Outside, chaos cracked open. People screamed, running down the street, their faces twisted in shock. Marcus pressed his forehead against the cool glass, confusion flooding over him. What was happening? A protest? An accident? But as more flashes rippled across the skyline, he realized it was something worse. The sound hit him like a freight train. A loud boom, followed by a cacophony of screams. He stumbled back, the journal slipping from his grasp, and landing with a thud on the polished floor. In that instant, everything shifted. Victor burst into the room, eyes wild, panic etching deep lines into his face. "Marcus, we need to move, now!" His voice trembled, a crack betraying the iron facade Victor always wore. "What's going on?" Marcus shouted, frantic. "What the hell is happening out there?" Victor grabbed Marcus by the shoulders, his grip fierce. "It's a strike! It's bigger than we thought. It's escalating. They're targeting us, looking to expose anything that can bring us down." "Who?" Marcus shot back, feelings of betrayal flaring up. "Is it Jaden? Is this his doing?" Victor shook his head sharply. "You don't get it! People are uniting against the system, against us!" They uncovered documents, things from deep in your past, things that could finish what you built, things that tie to your family. The walls seemed to spin, the journal on the floor somehow feeling heavier than ever. A wave of dread washed over Marcus. What secrets? What had he buried so deeply in that journal? Victor pushed him toward the door. "We don't have time. The news stations are already tracking this. You need to prepare for anything." Marcus stood frozen, his mind racing. In that moment of confusion, the phone buzzed again. He glanced at the screen, and the name blared like an alarm. He hesitated, but his finger, almost on its own, swept the screen to answer. "Marcus." Jaden's voice crackled through the line, cool and taunting. "Surprise! I found something you'll want to see. You really should have buried that family history deeper. It seems your ancestors had a darker side, and I've got the proof. Are you ready to lose everything?" With those words, a weight crashed in his chest, as if all the air had been sucked out of the room. Fear and fury collided within him. He looked to Victor, who was muttering something about getting to safety already. Outside, the protests swelled with shouts and chants. The city trembled, and Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. His family history, hidden scars, now spilling into the open. What had he done? What had his choices cost? The screams outside grew louder, merging with Marcus's heartbeat, a syncopated rhythm of dread and revelation. Could he really stand against this storm, or was everything he'd fought for crumbling at his feet? He gripped the phone tighter, a single thought taking hold. The past was no longer a shadow. It was here, staring him in the face, and it would not rest until he answered for it. The phone buzzed again, a hard vibration against Marcus's palm. Sweat clung to his brow as he hesitated, staring at that one name. It felt like a storm cloud hovering, dark and ominous. He hit answer with a trembling finger, heart racing. "Hello?" "Marcus, it's been a while." The voice was smooth, like velvet hiding a knife. "You're in quite the pickle, aren't you, tearing down that shiny facade of yours?" Marcus's stomach dropped. "What do you want, Dante?" Laughter crackled from the other end, cold and unfeeling. "Want? Oh, I want to help you. But first, there are some little secrets we need to discuss. The memories rushed back. Heavy nights, stolen dreams, choices fueled by desperation. Dante was more than an old acquaintance. He was a ghost with power, wielding secrets like weapons. I don't have time for games, Dante. Is that so? He paused, the silence thick with tension. Maybe I should drop a little truth on you. That family story you're obsessing over? It's not the whole story, Marcus. In fact, you're missing a massive chunk. A chill shot through Marcus. What do you mean? Your precious journal? There's more to it that meets the eye. I found something. Something that ties you to everything you're fighting against. Dante's voice was an edge of menace. Ah, how the mighty fall, huh? Blood thundered in Marcus's ears. He felt small, lost in a space too big, too loud. The empowering legacy he thought he understood suddenly felt like a trap. What are you talking about? And then shock. A revelation dropped like a rock in the pit of his stomach. Your legacy, Marcus. It's built on lies. Your ancestors, they weren't just heroes. They were part of the very system you want to change. The words hit like a punch. His breath caught in his throat, eyes wide. No! That can't be true. It is. And I've got the documents to prove it. You want to change the world? You're fighting the very blood that runs through your veins. Are you ready for that truth? Marcus's heart raced like a drum in a dark march. Images of his family flashed in his mind. Faces he loved, but now obscured by a shadow. He didn't want to believe it. He felt the weight of the world press down. Across the city, horns blared, sirens wailed. The bright lights flickered as if to mock him. You wouldn't! He whispered, realizing how close he was to the edge. But Dante's laughter echoed again, taunting. Oh, I would. All I need is a little push, Marcus. Ha 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 ha. A single tweet, a damaging revelation, and your entire world crumbles. You're one step away from losing it all. Marcus swallowed hard, the fear gripping his chest tight. Outside, the city danced, unaware. Inside, a vortex spun with truths he never wanted to uncover. And then, the line went dead. He stood there, phone still to his ear, shock wrapping around him like a vice. Should he reach out to his loved ones? Share what he learned? Or was it too late? The message lingered in the air, heavy with uncertain consequences. Night crept deeper, the glow of his haunted cities blurring under the weight of a legacy he feared to confront. Could he risk it all? Or had he just stumbled into his own downfall? The walls whispered, the echoes of history reverberating. For the first time, the future felt dangerously close and endlessly dark. Marcus stood there, the silence thick and uncomfortable, heart pounding as uncertainty gripped him. The weight of what Dante had revealed hung over him like a storm cloud. Outside, chaos erupted, screams, sirens, chaos. But inside, time seemed frozen. He felt trapped in a moment that stretched indefinitely, as though the universe waited for him to make a move. Then the door swung open. Tasha burst in, breathless and wild-eyed. "Marcus, you have to—" "Not now, Tasha," Victor snapped, stepping protectively in front of Marcus. "This is no time for—" "No!" Tasha interrupted, her voice slicing through Victor's authority like a knife. "It is time. He needs to know." She turned to Marcus, desperation etched deep in her gaze. "You don't understand. Someone's after you, and it's not just Dante." "What do you mean?" Marcus felt a sinking sensation, the walls closing in again, heavy with the weight of family secrets about to spill out. "Mom, she's not who you think she is." Shock rippled through Marcus, like a sudden chill in the air. "What are you talking about?" "Shh. She's been hiding something your grandfather left behind. Documents that tie him and you to the other side of the system." "No, no way!" Marcus shouted, the denial exploding from him. "My family fought against it. They weren't part of it." "But they were, Marcus." Tasha stepped closer, eyes wide, fear and determination battling for control. "And if you don't accept this, it will destroy everything you care about." A sudden blast shook the building. It was an explosion, raw and violent. Glass shattered. The room quaked, and Marcus fell to the ground. Dust and debris rained down as screams echoed from outside, followed by a wave of panic that crashed over everything. "Get down!" Victor yelled, pulling Marcus and Tasha close, shielding them. As the dust settled, Marcus looked around. His pulse raced, and he could barely catch his breath. But then something caught his eye. Amidst the wreckage, a figure emerged. It was hard to see through the haze, but the outline was familiar. Terrifyingly so. "Jordan!" Marcus gasped, recognition flooding him. Jordan stepped forward, drenched in sweat, face smudged with dirt. "I just heard the news. They want to silence you, both of you." "What?" Marcus said, confusion swirling in his mind. "They're coming for everyone connected to the history. It's not just about exposing you, Marcus. It's about erasing what you stand for before it can ignite something big." The weight of those words settled heavy in Marcus's soul. "Before what?" But Jordan didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his pocket, pulling out a crumpled envelope. "I found this on my way here." Tasha snatched it from him. She tore it open, eyes scanning the documents within. As her expression shifted from curiosity to horror, her breath caught. "No, it can't be!" "What is it?" Marcus demanded, reaching over her shoulder. The words were barely legible, but they left a sickening knot in his stomach. This can't be real!" In big, bold letters were names, not just any names, the names of Marcus's family, but connected to accounts, properties, and financial schemes that profited from oppression. "This is their legacy?" Marcus whispered, heart racing. "All this time!" Tasha's face paled as she finally met his gaze. "They weren't just fighters against the system, Marcus. They built pieces of it, and they were crushed under their own weight." The room swirled with tension as the implications rushed in. The truth ripped at the fabric of everything Marcus believed in, a dizzying unraveling of his identity. His vision blurred, and fear clawed at the edges of his mind. Just then, there was a deafening crash. The door burst open again, a new figure stepping in, A tall woman, her fiery presence crackling like a live wire. "Enough!" she shouted, her voice commanding and fierce. "You've been played, Marcus, all of you. Who the hell are you?" Victor spat, standing to confront her, but she ignored him. "I'm Malika," she said, her piercing eyes fixed on Marcus. "Your mother sent me. She knew it was only a matter of time before you uncovered the truth about why your legacy is so deeply intertwined with the very injustices you seek to dismantle." Marcus felt his heart drop. His mother? The revelation struck harder than any explosion. He had been fighting battles he didn't even understand. Truths that had been hidden right under his nose. "What are you saying?" Marcus could barely form the words. "I'm saying," Malika stepped closer, determination radiating from her, "that everything you thought you knew about your family, your mission, it's all a lie. Are you ready to uncover the real truth? The one that could turn everything you've built into ashes." The walls felt like they were closing in. Marcus stood, breath quickening, uncertainty now flooding his mind. Would he have the courage to face the real legacy of his family? Would uncovering the truth destroy everything or set them free? The question loomed like a shadow, unfurling wide and dark. A new beginning waiting to unfold, right at the edge of a precipice. Marcus stood still, overwhelmed by what Malika had just revealed. His heart thundered in his chest, each beat echoing the weight of the impending revelation. Around him, Tasha, Jordan, and Victor shared uneasy glances, the air crackling with tension. The truth loomed like a specter, ready to devour everything he'd fought for. Malika locked eyes with Marcus, her voice steady and piercing. "Your mother sent me not just to protect you, but to reveal something even more profound. You're part of a legacy that's darker than you can imagine." Before he could digest her words, the entire diner shook again, a tremor that felt deeper this time. Shouts erupted from outside, crowds clashing with police barricades, chaos spilling into the air like spilled ink. And then it hit. A blinding light burst through the windows, followed by a deafening roar. Marcus instinctively covered his head as glass shattered, the diner transforming into a scene of devastation. The world outside morphed into a blur of panic and fire. The reality unraveling as flames flickered against the night sky. "Get down!" Victor yelled, pulling Tasha close. Jordan fell beside Marcus, his eyes wide with fear. Amid the confusion, a figure emerged through the smoke. A woman, cloaked in airborne debris, stepping into the light. She was tall and fierce, with eyes full of fire. "I'm here to save you," she shouted, voice fighting against the chaos. "Who are you?" Marcus gasped, trying to peer through the haze. But before she could answer, she whipped out a device. A small, sleek gadget that sparkled ominously in the wreckage. "This will expose everything," she declared, pointing it directly at Marcus. "What do you mean?" he shouted back, throat dry and trembling. The flames flickered, reflecting fear across their faces. "They can't let the truth out, yours or your family's." With a press of a button, a blinding flash erupted from the device, and everything froze. And then darkness. Marcus jolted awake, gasping. The diner was gone, replaced by a cold, metallic room filled with flickering screens. He blinked, disoriented. All around him, shadows crept, faces watching, studying. His pulse slammed in his ears. What had just happened? Marcus! Tasha's voice pulled him back. She was here, but different. Her expression, sharp, eyes glimmering with hidden knowledge. Jordan stood beside her, equally changed. Victor was there too, but a betrayal flickered behind his gaze. "What's happening?" Marcus croaked, stretching out a hand to steady himself. "We're safe." "For now," Tasha replied, but the fear in her voice belied her words. "We were taken. They know everything." "Who?" From the shadows, the woman reappeared, stepping forward with her hand now empty, expression fierce. "Do you want to know the truth? All of it?" "What truth?" He stepped back, dread pooling in his stomach. "Your mother," she began, but then the lights flickered and she hesitated. "She's been lying to you too, Marcus. You're not just an heir, you're a target." Before he could respond, a cold voice rose from the dark, shattering the air. "That's right, Marcus. You see, your mother isn't just protective. She's orchestrating everything to keep you safe from your own legacy." "What?" The weight of disbelief crashed down on him. "You're lying." "No, we're revealing. The mother you love, she manipulated your entire life. This war, it's hers." The shadowy figure stepped forward, revealing a face that sent chills down Marcus's spine. His mother, eyes glimmering like a predator. "Mom?" he shouted, voice breaking, reality crumbling around him. "But why?" The question hung in the air, sinking deep into Marcus's heart. "Because, my dear son, you're my greatest creation and my greatest risk," she replied, her voice both sharp and tender. "And I won't let the world destroy what I built." Everything shifted. The righteous battle for justice now felt tainted, twisted by the revelation of betrayal. His own mother was entwined in schemes that had deep roots, far deeper than he understood. His mind whirled, the questions spiraling endlessly. Was he nothing but a pawn? And who, truly, were the enemies in this war? Standing there, in the jagged room of truth and lies, doubt clawed at him. What was left to fight for? And could he ever trust her again? The shadows loomed closer, secrets waiting, and Marcus was left teetering on the edge of everything he thought he knew. Marcus stood there, heart racing, staring into the eyes of his mother. The tension in the room was like electricity, crackling and sharp. "You knew all along?" he whispered, betrayal stinging his words. "Yes," she replied, her voice calm yet heavy. "I had to protect you from the truth, from what we are." "What we are?" he echoed, anger bubbling. "You mean what you are? I never asked to be part of this." Tasha placed a hand on Marcus's arm, her eyes filled with concern. "We need to understand, Marcus. This legacy, it's not just yours, it's ours. We can take control." "By ignoring the past?" Victor interjected, his voice sharp. "That's a fool's errand. You have a choice to make." The walls of the cold, metallic room felt like they were closing in on him. Jordan stepped forward, his eyes fierce. "You can't let them define you, Marcus. Everything you've built, it can still mean something." "But how?" Marcus felt overwhelmed. "How can I build something good on such a dirty foundation?" "By confronting it," Malika said fiercely. "Face the truth head on. Rewrite your family story. It's time to rise up against the past, not hide from it." Marcus clenched his fists. The fire ignited in him, a storm brewing inside. So what? I just expose them? Tear my family apart? Not just expose them, Tasha said softly. Turn it into something powerful. Use their history. Turn it to your weapon for change. Together, Jordan added, determination shining in his eyes. We stand strong, and we don't let their darkness pull us down. The room fell silent, the weight of their words sinking in. What if, just what if, he could redefine the legacy? What if he could lead the fight to create real change? Suddenly, crashing sounds erupted outside. Darkness seeped through the cracks of the room as chaos reigned once again. They're coming, Victor shouted, panic in his voice. Marcus turned, heart hammering. We have to act now! The air thickened with urgency. But how? Tasha asked, desperation haunting her eyes. Suddenly, Marcus felt a surge of clarity. We have to gather the truth, every single piece. He grabbed the crumpled documents from the floor, determination coursing through him. Then we'll expose it all, not just my family, but the whole system. Malika placed a firm hand on his shoulder, a spark of hope igniting between them. Let's go, but we have to stick together. They won't make it easy. As they rushed through the door, Marcus finally felt alive. Each step propelled him forward. The past was now a battlefield, a place he'd conquer, not flee from. Together, they charged into the chaos, ready to fight back against the darkness threatening to consume them. Outside, the streets were painted with smoke and chaos, ablaze with voices demanding change. The storm rolled in, but they stood united, determined to reshape their destinies. Just as the dawn of possibility broke, Marcus realized the truth. This fight wasn't just his. It belonged to all of them. And in that moment, as the warmth of the rising sun kissed his skin, he found hope for something brighter, something worth believing in. Marcus looked back at his friends, each face mirroring the same fierce resolve. The fight wasn't over, it was just beginning. Hey, before you go, this is your moment. You have to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss the upcoming exclusive stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm and keep this community growing. Let's fill the comments with your reactions and theories about this ending. And don't wait even a second longer to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this ending. Your support me